quick bit of context before we get into it. Command is built by SoftSys Hosting, and we've been running and managing servers since 2006, nearly 20 years. In that time, we've watched this whole world change, from racking physical boxes by hand to today's sprawling mixed fleets of Linux, Windows, panels, and VMs. But the hard parts? They never really went away. The 3 a.m. pages, the patch that takes down production, the server quietly failing while you're looking the other way. We've lived every one of them. And honestly, that's exactly why we built Command. So, most server tools, they tell you something broke, and then they kind of leave the fixing to you. SoftSys Command is different. It predicts problems before they happen. It defends every box automatically. And when something does go wrong, it actually fixes it, across your whole fleet, in plain English. And look, whether you've run data centers for 20 years or, you inherited 3 servers last week, it meets you right where you are. Here, let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so let's start with the pain. And honestly, I'd bet some of this sounds familiar. First one, monitoring tools notify you, but they don't act. So that 3 a.m. page, yeah, that's still yours. Second, every layer kind of speaks its own language. cPanel over here, Windows over there, raw logs just everywhere. No single pane of glass. Third, patching's a gamble. You either apply and pray, or you fall behind and get breached. And the fourth one, real enterprise security exists, but it needs a dedicated specialist and a budget most teams just don't have. And both are people, the seasoned SRE and the accidental admin who inherited a few boxes. They feel every one of these, every week. Alright, here's the whole idea in one picture. The old model, that's the top row. You watch, you get an alert, and then you diagnose, you fix, you document. Every step after that alert, manual labor, all of it. Command just flips it. It predicts the problem, explains it in plain English, and fixes it. Then it auto-documents whatever it did. The only thing it asks of you is that one checkpoint in the middle, a quick approval before anything risky happens. So look, it's the same job. Command just does the parts you hate, and you stay firmly in control. Okay, pillar 1, predict. And the promise here is pretty simple. Catch failure before it actually happens. And I mean more than just CPU and disk. I mean the hardware your operating system won't even warn you about. Now the hard part, right, is doing that without crying wolf. And that's exactly what we engineered for. Let me show you how. So anyone who's run a monitoring tool knows alert fatigue, and we engineered directly against it. Command forecasts disk fill, memory exhaustion, CPU and swap saturation, each one with an actual ETA. But the real magic? It's the seasonality-aware brain. It learns what's normal for this server at this hour of the week, so a routine nightly backup or a business hours ramp never pages you. There's a cold start guard too, so a brand new server's settling memory climb won't fire off some false 100% in 19 hours alarm. And it only ever surfaces high-confidence trends, tight statistical fit, tight horizon. The whole thing runs as pure statistics on the live metric stream, 0 AI tokens, so it scales cleanly to thousands of servers. And on the right there, that's a real disk exhaustion alert. And the normal band chart, see how a routine spike just sits inside the band and gets silenced. Okay, this one. This is the category behind most so-called random outages. Command reads the hardware layer directly. Smart disk wear, reallocated sectors, RAID array state, across both software and hardware controllers, so MegaRAID, PERC, HB Smart Array, Adaptec, ECC memory errors via EDAC on Linux and WEA on Windows, plus IPMI fans, PSUs, temperatures. All of it read hourly. And VMs get auto-skipped since, well, they've got no real hardware. The payoff? A reallocating disk or a dying RAM stick gets flagged days before it takes the box down. And hey, if you've got a known bad spare you're choosing to leave in, you can mute just that one device so it stops nagging without losing the signal everywhere else. On screen, an amber disk warning, muted, and the components that are all clear. Little touches like this, honestly, this is why operators come to trust the tool. So if you're running kernel care, a kernel update gets live patched on the running kernel. So instead of throwing up this scary red reboot required flag, Command just tells you the truth. No reboot needed for security. It'll also predict whether any change is going to need a restart before you apply it, right there in the preview, not as some surprise afterward. The point is, Command actually understands the context of your specific stack, rather than treating every single kernel update like it's an emergency. Pillar 2, defend. And the goal here is security posture that's maintained automatically, not something you've got to remember to go check. It's really 3 things, all working together. Behavioral AI that learns what's normal, signature scanning for the known threats, and one-click hardening. And the thing that makes it hosting grade? It's panel aware, so it never fights cPanel or Plesk. So, signature scanners, they only catch yesterday's attacks. This catches the drift, the stolen but valid credential, the insider, the 0-day. Command learns each server's normal, who logs in, from where, by geography and ASN, at what hours, which processes run, which ports listen. And then it flags the real attack patterns, impossible travel logins, brute force break-ins, new admin accounts, a web server suddenly, spawning a shell, and it correlates them into a kill chain. Every detection gets reconstructed as a plain English incident like the one on screen. This is EDR class behavioral detection at roughly a tenth of the cost, because a zero-token local brain does the cheap work right on the box, and we only escalate the hard cases up to the AI. Now today, this runs Shadow to Alert. Automated response is on the roadmap. And, honestly, that's still genuinely impressive. We also run the trusted signature engines, Maldet and RK Hunter on Linux, Windows Defender front and center. But we finally make them useful instead of just noisy. Everything's deduped, signatures kept fresh. But here's the key move. Every finding gets a verdict, benign, review, or action, along with the why and the exact fix. So a routine all clear becomes this calm, yep, we checked, everything's normal. And a real web shell? That shows up with numbered remediation steps. Think about Riley, the accidental admin. They don't know whether hidden file in /dev is a rootkit or, nothing at all. Command tells them what it means and what to do. And, crucially, it won't email them noise at 2 a.m. over routine results. Okay, here's something nobody else does properly. Linux has failed to ban. Windows? Nothing built in. And RDP and SMB are under relentless brute force from day one. So Command brings centrally managed brute force auto-blocking to Windows with a safety ladder. Off, then shadow, so you can watch exactly who would get blocked, then active. And the engineering detail operators love. It collapses every blocked attacker into one consolidated firewall rule. Never one rule per IP. So your firewall console stays clean, whether you've blocked 10 attackers or 10,000. There are hard lockout guards too. It will never block an IP with a live RDP session, and never your own IP. And it's all policy managed. Org-wide defaults, per-server overrides, allow lists, even proactive whole country blocking from a maintained geo-IP set. And you can run all of it from the AI chat, in plain English. So the number one fear operators have about any hardening tool is, wait, is this gonna lock me out? Break my live sites? So we made Secure Now safe by default on production. It's additive, it's idempotent, and on a live box it never touches your SSH or RDP ports, your root login, or the firewall. On a panel server, it's panel aware. It won't fight CSF or the Plesk firewall, or hand edit config the panel's just gonna revert anyway. It skips those conflicts, and it tells you exactly why. And posture detection reflects what's already been done. So when you onboard an existing live server, it shows you reality, not some blank checklist. So you can harden a production box without ever holding your breath. Okay, this is the feature that kind of sells itself. Server MRI. It's a provably read-only scan you can run on any server. Doesn't have to be a SoftSys box. And it produces this branded, graded, shareable web report. 8 sections, each with a plain English letter grade, exportable to PDF, viewable at an unguessable public link. And provably read-only. That's not marketing. The scan's composed only of read-only checks, pinned by an automated build test that fails if anything state-changing ever sneaks in. So you can trust it, on production. The report reads OS native too. A Windows box gets Windows findings. SMB v1, RDP, SSD endurance, not generic Linux copy. And the public link leaks nothing. Sanitized findings only, behind a revocable, expiring, rate-limited token. And it's the scary specific finding that really lands. Something like, a database password is exposed under your web root. Oof. For MSPs, there's a fleet rollup that grades the whole estate at a glance. And it's free to run. Point an MRI at your worst server and just let the report speak for itself. Pillar 3. Act. And this is the showstopper. Everything so far, right, has been about knowing. This is about doing. 2 halves. A natural language assistant that actually executes work for you, and safe, audited patching with preview, rollback, maintenance windows. This is where it gets genuinely fun. Okay, this next part is best seen live. You type a sentence. Is this server healthy, and is it missing any security updates? And Command doesn't guess. It runs the actual tools, reads live data off the box, and answers, with a diagnostic script you can open and inspect. Under the hood, the assistant's got tool use access to 75+ server actions. Restart services, reset passwords, edit configs, apply updates, all of it. Here's the whole idea in one line. A junior admin types a sentence, and a senior admin saves an hour. Same interface for both. And the guardrail that makes it safe to put in front of a customer. Anything destructive, you have to physically type confirm, and the agent never reports a change it didn't actually make. It's grounded in the real server, not a chatbot guessing. So, logs. They live in a different place on every single stack. And frankly, a wall of error lines doesn't tell a busy operator much. So Command does two things. First, it finds the right log automatically. cPanel DOM logs, Plesk vhosts, Windows IIS, and MS SQL, down to per domain access and error logs, and it only shows you logs that actually exist. Second, about 39 curated rules turn the common Apache, Nginx, PHP-FPM, MySQL, event log errors into, here's the cause and here's the exact fix command, instantly, for 0 tokens. And that weird 20% the rules can't name? That's one click away from a full AI investigation, with the log context already loaded. So the known 80% gets answered for free, and the AI is reserved for what's genuinely unusual. This is the purest expression of it acts. So a crashed database or web service or app pool, that means downtime until a human notices, unless something brings it back. Command watches a Windows service, an IIS app pool, a Linux systemd unit, and automatically restores it when it stops, usually within a couple minutes. And the crucial word here is verify. It rechecks that the service actually came back, the source of truth, not just the restart command's exit code, and it records the whole timeline. You pick the autonomy level, auto heal, ask first with one click approve, or notify only. There's a circuit breaker, so a service that just keeps flapping escalates to a human instead of restart looping forever. But the smartest part? It's the learn layer. It surfaces the chronic pattern a breaker can't catch, a service that quietly restarts once, twice a day, every day, recovering each time but, masking a root cause. And it tells you, hey, this keeps happening, here's what to check. So you fix the cause, not the symptom. It's cross-OS from day one, and it added nothing to the agent's footprint. Okay, if you run Hyper-V hosts, this one lands hard. So most VMs, they've got no agent inside them, which means managing and backing them up is manual, scripted, error-prone. Command does all of it from the host agent. Nothing installed inside the guest. It auto-discovers the VMs, controls their whole lifecycle: start, stop, restart, save, reset. And it'll even open a console into a guest. PowerShell Direct for Windows, Serial Console for Linux. And then the piece backup people really care about: native VHD backup, done as checkpoint, export, verify, retention. On a schedule, in your time zone, DST aware, with a freshness watchdog that alerts if a backup goes stale, and automatic orphan cleanup. It's back-end orchestrated, so it backs up several VMs at once without overloading the host. Per VM locks, manual over scheduled priority. And it's safe. Share credentials are encrypted on the host, never stored in command. It's even battle-hardened for the ugly real-world stuff: Server 2012 R2 quirks, drive letter races, mapped drive versus UNC pitfalls, all with clear, actionable errors. Patch with confidence, not prayers. So the pipeline goes: dry run preview that shows you the exact diff and whether it's going to reboot. Then apply inside your maintenance window. Then need restart bounces only the services that actually need it. And if anything goes wrong, one-click rollback, apps downgrade, DNF history undo, or WUSA uninstall. Hold lists get auto-seeded for panel packages, and maintenance windows are in your time zone, DST aware. And the piece compliance people love: every action writes a single audit row: who did it, what changed, the transaction ID, the rollback hint. That trail means you can always answer, okay, what did we change? And can we undo it? And the answer is yes. And look, you don't have to drive any of this by hand. Apply recommended maintenance turns on an OS-aware baseline. Weekly security updates, disk cleanup, log rotation, and optional monthly reboot, all on a schedule, in your time zone, and it automatically respects the maintenance window. And for a whole fleet, you run a single campaign that rolls out in waves, a canary first, then the rest, so you're never updating everything at once. It's managed tier operations, without the managed tier headcount. Okay, for the hosting companies and the MSPs, here's the part that means you can actually sell this tomorrow. Command supports 2 go-to-market motions on one model: standalone, a la carte modules, and plans bundled with hosting, self-managed and fully managed. Plans are per server, so one customer with a single login can run a mixed fleet. Say 5 self-managed boxes and 3 fully managed, all on one bill. And it plugs into WHMCS, the billing system this industry already runs on. A hosting order automatically creates the customer and grants the plan, and suspend, unsuspend, terminate, those all flow through. Idempotently, securely. Even the upsell's honest. A locked add-on shows an upgrade affordance, with the plan that includes it, never just a toggle that errors out. The point: adopting Command doesn't mean re-architecting your billing. It fits how you already operate. Alright, and for the skeptics, the security and infrastructure folks, here are 4 points. 1. The agent is outbound only. It dials us, so it works through any NAT, any proxy, any firewall, and it never opens an inbound port. Security teams love this. 2. It's one pane across a genuinely mixed fleet. Linux and Windows, every panel, VMs and bare metal, even Hyper-V guests. 3. It's module licensed, per server, so you pay only for what each box actually needs. And 4. Disaster recovery is built in. Encrypted backups, a warm standby, one-click failover. So, ops teams love that it's one console for everything. Security teams love how little attack surface it adds. So let's place Command on the map. Honestly. Traditional monitoring tells you what's wrong. Loudly. Enterprise EDR and APM. They tell you too, and occasionally, they act. Command does all of it, and acts. It tells you what's wrong, with the why and the fix. It actually fixes it, with guardrails. It works for any skill level. It predicts hardware and capacity failures, with Smart, RAID, ECC. And it does all of that at low cost, no specialist required. So here's the takeaway. We're not a cheaper version of some existing category. We're the operator layer none of these categories have. And here's where it's going. And I want to be clear, this is roadmap, not ship today. So right now, the agent acts on each individual server, and the platform already sees your whole fleet. But the vision we're building toward? Collective immunity. The moment a threat is confirmed on one server, that knowledge becomes a fleet-wide shield, automatically protecting every other box before they're even probed. And the strategic point here, the more servers you run, the stronger every single one of them gets. That's a network effect a single box product structurally cannot copy, and it's why this thing gets more valuable the bigger your fleet is. So, here's the ask, and it's simple. Stop watching your servers and start operating them. Predict failures before they happen. Keep your security and performance posture maintained automatically, and drive all of it in plain English, at any skill level. And honestly, the best way to feel it is to just try it. I'd love to put Command on one of your real servers, right now. The install's a single curl pipe sudo bash line, and the box shows up under management in about 30 seconds, through any firewall. So, want to pick a server and do it together?